These are the plaintiffs, Yvette Egas and her daughter English. Yvette says her daughter was going to live in a loft apartment with the defendant's daughter. A big fight ensued and they didn't move in together. Now she's out the various fees she's paid, plus rent, to the tune of $1,133.12. And since the fight was the defendant's fault, she's suing. These are the defendants, Sandy and Danielle. Sandy says it wasn't her daughter who caused all the problems, it was the plaintiffs. She finds it hard to believe that in this day and age a woman can actually drag her into court today, because neither she nor her daughter did anything to warrant this lawsuit. They're accused of not paying up.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff's daughter was going to live in a loft with the defendant's daughter, but they got in an epic fight, and the plaintiff fronted all sorts of money, and nobody ever moved in. But the defendant says the plaintiffs caused all the problems. It's the case of the lofty litigants.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Yvette Egas?
Yes.
And English Egas?
Yes.
Okay, you were suing Sandy and Danielle. You've asked us not to mention your last names for $1,133.12 in rent and realtor fees that you feel you should get back because, according to you, they breached a roommate agreement. Who wants to talk, mom or daughter?
I'll start off.
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter, she met Danielle at Urban Outfitters, a brief, like a short period of time while she was working there. And they agreed to find an apartment together. My daughter found an apartment on November 1st. She called me.
Actually, let me hear from you because you're the one who got the apartment.
Okay, go ahead.
You, the two of you, and was there going to be a third party?
Yes, at that point.
All right. Now, this is what month? You're going to move in when? December 15th?
Yes, December.
All right.
15th.
Now, the moms get involved because you guys are how old?
During the time I
How
was
old? Just
20.
answer.
I was 20.
You're how old?
I'm 21, but we were 20.
All right. So now, when the lease is written up by the landlord, it does not, as I would expect, have the three youths' names on it. It has whose name on it? Yours and yours?
And Danielle's.
Okay. And that was done, why?
Because at the time, it was either we get the apartment right then and there, or we lose the apartment, and she wasn't there at the time.
She wasn't there at the time.
Yes.
So did you tell her that? Like, we
Yes.
need to sign a lease?
We called her.
And she was fine with that?
Yes.
All right. So then what happens instead is that you then do, I guess, sort of a sublease situation because you want to make sure you're not on the hook for stuff.
Yes.
And you write something out at a lawyer's office.
An agreement.
An agreement, a roommate agreement, so that you and the third party, and everybody's fine with that because you sign it. So you're fine with the way the lease worked out. All right. So now the agreement is that the rent is going to be $666 a person, and you're all moving in December 15th. Now something goes wrong, and tell me what that is.
So then we had to, because it was a loft apartment, there was like just an empty kind of space, and then the actual loft part where Max agreed that he would stay there.
And Max is the other roommate?
Yes. I thought originally he just needed like a little corner to put his desk. However, it turned into he actually wanted like an office space. Therefore, we had to divide the like actual apartment aside from the loft area into 3 spaces: a room for Danielle and a room for myself, and then Max's office space. But then I felt like his office space just kept getting, quite larger and larger. And during that time, Max was just getting very like aggressive with me, made me feel very uncomfortable. I didn't really, know this person. And then that's when just drama started escalating because I'm, a young lady and I'm getting really nervous.
Well, what was he doing that was making you nervous?
He just kind of seemed like a very ruthless person over the phone and just very, aggressive. I don't care. It was just, I'm a young lady. So I just didn't, that's when all this drama started escalating.
Okay, but I'm confused about a couple things. There was a plan for a wall to go up.
Yes.
To make your bedroom and make his office, that they just happen to be adjacent.
Yes.
Okay. Was he going to pay more rent in order to have an office?
No,
or was it really his?
I suggested that. However, Danielle was saying that, well, he has that loft area, which he can't even stand up in. That was just, his sleeping quarters. So he shouldn't really have to pay extra for his little office.
Because you guys were going to put walls up and make rooms.
Yes.
Right. Did you guys hire a contractor to put up the walls?
We had the super actually do because they told us that we weren't allowed to hire contractors.
Okay.
But originally, the room that is that the wall is shared with the office was supposed to be my room, and her room was supposed to be near the kitchen. But because she didn't want to pay more money for the walls, for the 2 walls to be up instead of splitting it with Max, I was nice enough to give my room to her and take the other room. And then
Because picking that first room was going to cost more money for the walls because there were 2 walls that had to be built?
Yeah.
But how is it not like well spelled out between the 2 parties where that wall's going to go? You end up showing up and then the wall is like too tight? When do you walk in and say, wait, this wall isn't where we agreed?
I want to say maybe it was about like a week before we moved
entry.
in, before moving.
Okay, but and where was it and where was it supposed to be?
This is what happened. Norman, I'm going to defer to Norman with the walls because he was part of.
Okay, I need Norman with the walls. That's where I am. I don't want to start from the beginning. Come on up, Norman.
With the walls, right?
This is, and you are whom to her?
Stepdad.
Stepdad. Okay.
English came home and they were corresponding with blueprints of how everything should be. I actually called Sandy during the day. I work in New York, and I said I was going to meet her daughter down at Gold Street to kind of see what was going on, because the exchange back and forth, they don't know size difference walking into just an open area. You're unable to tell exactly how it's going to be.
I don't know why. All you need is a measuring tape and you mark from the wall and whatever
there wasn't one there. So
show me what they were sending you. Does anybody have what was being sent? Okay, so go on.
So basically, from a drawing standpoint, if you're not used to understanding how measurements are,
you don't trust it.
Right, you don't trust it. So I said, well, let me go down and let me see exactly what they're talking about. And when they were laying the string out, I was like, well, this is entirely too small. And I said, well, Danielle, I said,
so was it not 8 by 9?
what?
Is it that you decided that 8 by 9 is too small?
Right. So
okay.
then
what happened?
I texted her and told her what the options were, because at that point, everything was set. We only had a week before or 2 weeks before, and she agreed on it. Then all of a sudden...
Wait, let me see the text where she agreed on it.
Her options.
Okay. So you send her a text, and the text says, these are your options. 1, Max will push his office an extra foot out into your room. I'm sure you meant out of your room instead, because that would not be an option. All right. And me and you pay $400 each. 2, you can move back to where your original spot was. That's by the kitchen. And me and Max will split the walls on the other side.
She took option 1.
By the way, so that we're clear, you ended up, when you pull out, and she pulls out on what day?
Oh, we have that right here.
The text?
She pulled out December 15th.
The day that she's supposed to move in.
Exactly.
She sends a text to you. You don't deny this, right? That you sent a text.
I'm denying this because I did not send a text to her saying that I did not want to move out.
Give me the text. Do you have it on your phone? Do you have your phone here?
No, the phone was stolen.
Okay.
This is a text that she sent to Max because she refused to answer me.
What'd you send to Max? Tell me what. Stop talking. Okay. Let me work here. I've been doing this a long time. I don't need your help.
So if 2 people move into a place together, sign the lease, and then one of them says, look, we're not getting along, it's not going to work out, can that person just move out and just say, I'm not paying anything?
No, once you sign that dotted line, you have to pay.
What do you think, sir? But what if they just don't get along? You're doing the other person a favor.
Well, I think you can get in trouble. Like, they can call the police or file some lawsuit, or that's how problems start, right? I mean, you gotta...
Are you on the hook for the money?
I think so, right?
Okay, fair enough, ma'am.
I think it's they should pay, because what if they make damages to the house before they leave,
Well, they didn't make damages to the house. The question is, are they on the hook for the duration of the lease going inside the courtroom?
Go ahead.
I didn't text him anything. That time, Max and I were speaking over the phone.
Okay. There's a text at 10:41. I really can't have a serious conversation, and you and Danielle are making me feel uncomfortable. I think you should just find another roommate. Just reimburse me.
What? Oh, and then I spoke to Max over the phone.
Okay, so that did occur.
Yes.
Okay. That doesn't mean that they didn't breach. A person can say, look, you're breaching, so I'm pulling out. That's fine. It's just that now I need you to persuade me.
Yes.
How did they breach that makes you have a right to not only get every penny you invested in here back? Because Mom, when you get contacted by Mom, you return to her certain monies.
Yes, I did.
You return 1 month's rent,
1 month's rent.
and 1 month's security.
Correct.
Minus $400 for the wall. Now, had the super already started building the wall?
They were up.
Yes,
They had already been paid?
And she
Because it was
the
already
mother
moving.
came
The wall was
and
up.
moved it back.
The what?
Yeah, the wall was up, and she said, "No, it's too small. I want you to move it back."
And had it been moved back?
It was moved back.
It was moved back
we were
up
delayed.
and ready for her to move in. All right. So what didn't get returned was the $100 application fee and the $500 and something realtor fee.
Yeah.
Correct? All right. And what you're suing for here today is you want your money back for the wall because you acknowledge that you got the monies I talked about, but you don't think it's fair. You want to be zero sum. You want to be exactly where you were as if this whole, make it like it never happened. All right. Go ahead, Mom. What did you want to say?
I called Sandy up and I said to English, you're moving in this place because we signed an agreement with Sandy's attorney that if 3 months, if it doesn't work out, you will vacate the place in 3 months, okay? I said, you're moving in. And she called Danielle and them back and I said, but before you guys move in, let's sit down and talk about this so you're not moving in a chaotic situation. So English called Danielle. Danielle told her there's nothing to talk about. You can't move in. I drove down, knocked on the door. Danielle opened the apartment. She was in the bed. Her bed was in the room with her boyfriend. Max was up in the loft with his girlfriend. And I said, so Danielle, you're telling me that you're denying English access to move into the apartment in which the apartment she found? She goes, yeah, English can't move into the apartment. And Max was upstairs in the loft taunting Norman and I saying, you're not getting your money back.
All right. What's your version of how that transpired?
She knocked on the door. I opened the door. She barged in. Then she comes in screaming at me, not even being like calm about it whatsoever. So I was telling her that I don't want English moving in because I don't trust the fact that they'll have the rent on time because they were going back and forth about paying for the walls, and it just didn't seem like I could trust them to giving me the money.
I've listened to you now for quite some time, right? I want you to listen to me. I know we want to make all of our kids' decisions probably until they're about 50 or 60 because we don't trust that they have the maturity to make the right decisions, and we're probably right as mothers. They probably don't have the maturity to make the right decisions. But it's part of how you get the maturity to make the right decisions is you make the wrong decisions. Whether it's the wrong decisions about how big your bedroom needs to be to fit a mattress, or the wrong decision about who you want to live with, or the wrong decision about how many concessions you should make to somebody to keep the peace, whatever it is, it's part of the process of growing up and maturing so that when you get to this stage, you can make the right decisions. So here we are, it's now December 15th. It has been agreed that the wall is going to be at a certain place that gives her more room. Everything is fine, and then a decision is made. We don't like these folks. We don't want to live with them. We're not comfortable. We don't, and that's fine. It is the most mature thing that you as a family could decide. That's great. That is different from being entitled to get your money back. Some decisions cost us money. So you made the right decision under the circumstances you're describing. It's just that that does not a legal case make to get your money back. And when you say to me, well, but we came in there after move-in date, after she sent that text, and then said, changed our minds, we now want to be in there. That doesn't change the legal position of calling the contract quits like she did in that text. That's a very, very important text. It's the equivalent of saying, I hereby release you from the contract. When you say, I'm not comfortable, I don't want to do it, we're done. That's when, boom, the moment in time is fixed, and I have to figure out which way should the money go. And you know which way I would make the money go? Exactly the way that mom decided the money was going to go. I would end up giving her back her first month's rent. In fact, you were more generous than I would have been because I might not have given the first month's rent because that means you ate the first month's rent.
I did.
But she gave you back the first month's rent, gave you back the security, and the only thing she's not willing to do is reach into that purse of hers and pull out the realtor's fees and the wall fees that she's already out. No. Verdict for the defendant.
Well, here comes the entourage from the plaintiff's side on the losing end of this case. Step up a little bit here. And
Yeah, I
should,
have
should you
anything
have
to
stayed
say.
out of
Yeah.
Should the grown-ups have stayed out of it? Did they get a little too involved?
No, because she didn't allow me to
say.
speak. The
I
judge
don't
did
really
not
have
allow me
anything
to
to say.
speak. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Which way do we leave out of here?
You could just go right that way if you would like to. Good luck. All right, so step on in here. Come on in here. You satisfied how this comes out?
Very much.
Do you think the grown-ups got involved and messed this thing up?
I think her mother did, yes.
Yeah. You stayed out of this the whole
I
time?
pretty much stayed out of it as much as I could.
And you like the way it worked out?
Absolutely.
Yes.
How about you? What have you learned out of this whole deal?
I should honestly, get a background check on people before I decide to let them live with me.
Harvey, take it.
Okay, a little lesson here. The technical term for all of this is anticipatory repudiation. It means if the other person makes it so clear they're not going to abide by the contract, you can walk away from the deal even if their time for performing hasn't arrived, but simply was not the case here. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.